Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know that was a short introduction, but welcome, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guess what? I am back. But tonight and right now, I'm back because of something very important, something that I've been working on for the last couple of years, right? And I'm able to bring it into fruition. So I want to bring that to you guys by doing a special edition live. So, welcome to all of those who are first on. I see you guys, Miss November, Carmel. I, I, I see you, and we have a few others. Listen, welcome to the Final Boss podcast. All right, this is a special edition of live that I'm doing because I'm introducing a new product in our umbrella. Right, a new product under our umbrella, and that product is something that I find to be very important. Right, but before we get into it, let's get into some admin notes. Come on, man. I missed you guys. I've been building. I've been going through the construction, and now we are in the declaration. Couldn't get that out, right? Couldn't get that out, but we're here, right? So mm, we are in season 4, the rebirth, art 5, the declaration, right? And during this declaration, I have something to declare. I have something to declare, and that declaration is vital signal. That's right, vital signal, right? And man, I'm excited to talk about it. I'm getting ready to get right into it, man. It's a new product, it's a new app that I just developed, and we're going to get into it in a few. But if you already know, or if you don't, so go get Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train. Go get Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train. Go Time 2 is dropping very soon. Go Time 2, which is my second book, is dropping very, very soon, and I'm super excited about it, man. I'm elated even, right? So look, this is a time to be alive, man, and be grateful and be thankful for all that the universe and God is providing for us, right? And there's always opportunity in in disguise of the demise, right? Always opportunity. So let's go ahead and get rid of uh these banners right here. Everybody see what the banners, the banners, the banners, the banners are here. Banners are here. Banners are gone. They are out of here. So listen, for 3 years, 3 years, nobody asked me to build what I built. Nobody funded me to build it. Right? Nobody told me the market was ready. Nobody told me, um, good. Oh, wait a minute. What? We live, bro. What is this? Hmm. I don't know when that's not picking up. We go here and see. Uh-huh. Here we go. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. We got that. Yeah, nobody told me. I, I did it anyway. And I built it because the gap was there. And I could not walk in the past anymore. It's time to get out of the mindset of the past. And what I have right in here, right now to deliver is an app that I developed. It's called Vital Signal. Right? And Vital Signal is live. You guys will be able to go check it out as soon as this episode is over, right? And tonight, you're going to see every piece of it, every single piece, right? But before we get into that, let's talk about the brass tacks. You know, we got to do the brass tacks, right? So here's the brass tacks. And here is what tonight is all about. And this is what I'm going to be discussing this entire special segment, right? One platform, one platform. And I'm going to walk you through every section of Vital Signal from the ground up. We're going to be talking about the mortality data, the outbreak surveillance, the food recalls, the disasters, the historical record, the live news, the daily word, the AI analysts, all of it, right? From start to finish. This is me and you and the camera. There's no screen share. There's no slides. There is no graphics, at least on this part of the set. Right? And by the end of tonight, you would know what it is and what's inside it, who built it and why, and exactly how to access it right now for free, right? This is a special edition. It does not count against our episode count. Hey, Ruth, what's going on? It does not, it doesn't count against our episode count, right? We're still at episode number 276. The TheFinalBoss podcast will return, right? And the arc is exactly where it was. And tonight is it outside that clock? Tonight, we own it. We own the night, right? Tonight is its own thing, right? So let's get right into it. Right? And to my smarts in the room, you've been waiting for data platforms built the right way. Clean sources, clean cited data. No shortcuts on licensing, no shortcuts on anything, right? We got 11 confirmed agencies, and tonight you're going to see it, right? And to my final bosses, the signals you are not reading are already out there. Outbreaks, disasters, recalls, all of it affecting your business and your people. Tonight, that changes, right? And to the motivators, I built the word into the platform, the daily signal, every day before anything else. Data without wisdom is just noise. Tonight, I show you the noise and the word together. And to the warriors, there's a section for you in Vital Signal that keeps the record when institutions decide the record is inconvenient. Tonight, you will understand why that section exists and why it had to be there. So stay in the room, right? Stay in the room. And if you didn't know, you didn't find this episode by accident. Hey, Sonny, I see you. Thank you for joining us. All right. You didn't find this episode by accident. 400,000 of you are somewhere on this network right now. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and some podcast apps. This stream, 400,000 people who came in at the same point or at some point decide to stay, right? And tonight, this is for every last one of you. And I need to say something before I say anything about the platform, right? This is a special edition, and that means it sits outside of our normal episode count. The arc continues exactly where it led off. Episode 271 or something like that, right? Through 299 runs the entire season of season 5. The harvest of season 5 starts at episode 300, right? Nothing about tonight changed that sequence. Tonight is its own moment, right? In its own category. We'll be doing more of these about Vital Signal at least once or twice a month, right? 300 episodes, 4 seasons, and I've been in this room a long time. Merger Wednesdays, sitting down Sundays, special guest Thursdays, solo nights, where I went into the territory that most people would not even touch. Every one of those episodes earned its slot. This one is not like those. Those episodes were the argument. Tonight is the proof. And every time I said the data exists, but nobody put it in one place. Tonight, you see what I did about it, right? Every time I said the data exists, but nobody put it in one place. You guessed it. You're going to see it, right? Every time, every single time. Every time I said data sovereignty is the next frontier. Tonight, you see the infrastructure I built for it, right? Every time I said SatDigiNet is building something that matters, tonight you're going to be able to see it live. And here's the cost confession right now at the top of 3 years, right? 11 confirmed data sources, 40,000 rows of mortality data, and the WHO and the CDC and 9 other government agencies. A signed service level agreement, security architecture tested before the first subscriber even logs in. A governance framework I designed from scratch. That is what it costs, right? And here's the uncomfortable verdict. Most people in the health data space know this gap exists. They know the WHO publishes it, right? Sorry. And the CDC publishes it. And the UN publishes it, right? Nobody has put it in one readable place. They know, and they decided it is not their problem to solve. I decided it is my problem, and I solved it. And here's the open loop I'm leaving with you right now. The WHO director for data, digital health, and artificial intelligence said in May of this year, and I quote, data gaps severely limit the ability to monitor real-time health trends, compare outcomes across countries, and design effective public health responses. The WHO, the director of data, naming the gap publicly. And by the end of tonight, you will understand exactly why I built it, right? To close the gap. If you don't know who I am, I'm Turbo. I'm Dwight Dillard, right? Combat veteran, doctoral candidate in artificial intelligence at Capital Tech University, Amazon best-selling author, CEO and founder of Saturn Digital Networks Development, and the Final Boss podcast and the Final Boss LLC. And let's go. I am fired up, man. I'm fired up, right? So there's one sentence I have for you, right? And this is all you need to understand what this is. Vital Signal is the platform that reads the world's vital signs, right? That's the complete description. Everything tonight lives inside that sentence. Mortality data, disease outbreaks, food and product recalls, natural disasters, the historical record of what happens when institutions fail humanity, live health intelligence, a daily word, and an AI analyst that shows its work. All of it in one place, all sourced, all verified, all free at the awareness level. Now, let me tell you what it is not, because what it is not matters just as much, right? It is not a news feed optimized for clicks. Every source is named, cited, and verifiable. You can go check every single one yourself. It is not locked behind a price that most people cannot access. The full awareness layer is free. No account required, no credit card. Open a platform, and the world already is talking to you. And it is not built on data with legal problems. Let me slow down for a second when I say that, right? And let me slow down on this, right? Let me just do that. Because there's a major global health data provider called IHME, the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. They are cited everywhere. Their numbers show up in major publications and policy papers, in health platforms after health platforms, right? And their data carries a non-commercial license. And if you build a commercial product on IHME data, you are on shaky ground legally. So don't do it. You are using the research data to run a subscription business. I'm not doing that, right? Vital Signal contains zero, and I mean zero, IHME data. Not one row of it, not one figure, right? Every source we use is commercially safe. Every source is openly licensed. Every source is independently verifiable by anyone who wants to pull the original data set and check the numbers themselves. I made the decision before I wrote the first line of code, and I did not compromise it, right? 11 sources. We got the WHO global health estimates. We got the CDC. We got the NCHS. We got another CDC data set, Eurostat, World Bank, and many more, right? 40,000 rows, all clean, all cited, all running right now. And there is a signed service level agreement. 99.9% uptime for institutional subscribers, 99.5 for pro. Data freshness at minimum monthly levels, right? And binding, not a claim, a contract. Smarts, you heard the word infrastructure a second ago. Hold that word because everything I'm about to take you through tonight is about the standard. And that is a serious thing, right? Because serious institutions require that their data deserves that level of importance. And this isn't a hobby project. The WHO publishes it. The CDC publishes it. The UN publishes it. Governments on 6 continents publishes it. And nobody put it in one place so you can actually see it until now, right? Until now. So, right after this segment, I want you to go to the app or your app store. Look for Vital Signal. It's VITAL Signal, SIGNAL, right? Victor Indigo Tango Alpha Lima, Sierra Indigo Golf November Alpha Lima, right? First thing you see is a number when you go. Not a logo, not a menu, not a welcome screen, a number, large, live, center of the frame. That number is the global all cause death count right now, this second, because it's live. Not an estimate, not a projection, not a 10-year average dressed up to look real time. Derived from the WHO data. 23,000 rows, 200 countries, 200 causes of death, year 2000 to 21, right? Converted to per second rate, running live. Now, let me tell you about the year cap before we go any further, because somebody in this room is going to ask, right? The data stops at 2021, not because nothing happened since 2021. Obviously, things have happened. It stops at 2021 because that is the last year the World Health Organization has published their complete globally comparable cause-specific mortality estimates. 2022 data does not exist in the form yet. 2023 does not exist in the form yet, right? So we show 2021 data. We label 2021 data, right? We do not call it current. We do not fill the gap, the projection for the projections, and put them next to verified numbers. We show you what exists and we tell you exactly what it is and where it came from. You're going to run that back, right? Run that back. We listen, make a meme out of it, right? We show what exists. We tell you where it came from. That's the standard. Most platforms do not hold themselves to that standard. Vital Signal does, right? Below the deaths counter, births, you have births, right? Because this is a platform about the world's vital signs, not just death. We got life in it too. The global birth rate still outpaces the death rate. Every second someone dies, more than one person is born. Both counters run because the complete picture requires both numbers, right? So you can toggle, to this year, and you can see the cumulative all cause death count since January 1st. Toggle to today, and you can see today's count since midnight. These are the vital signs of humanity running the way a cardiograph runs, steady, sourced, and present, right? And right now, Somewhere, someone just took their last breath. Somewhere else, someone just took their first breath. Let's take a moment of silence for them people, right? Thank you for that. Thank you for that moment of silence. Vital signal. The PAHO monitors the Americans. Africa CDC monitors the continent. All of the information is out there. All of it is published. And until tonight, none of it was in one place you can open up on your phone and see. Vital Watch puts it all on a globe. Yes, that's right. We have a globe. You navigate to Vital Watch, you see the entire planet, every active outbreak being monitored by WHO, CDC, ECDC, PAHO, and African CDC. Is pinned to the globe, pinned to the country it is active in, color coded by severity level, right? Red is a PHEIC level, right? Which stands for the Public Health Emergency of International Concern. That is the WHO's highest designation. COVID back in January 2020 gave it that designation. The moment a PHEIC is declared anywhere on the earth, the Vital Watch card on the home screen turns red. It pulses and it lets you know you're not going to look for it. It's right there in front of you. The platform comes to you. Amber is an emergency. Yellow, yellow amber is an alert. Gray means it's monitoring, right? You tap any outbreak on the globe and the detail sheet opens up. The pathogens, right? It's biosafety level. The WHO alert level, confirmed cases, deaths recovered, transmission routers is the airborne, contact based, vector borne, and the RO estimate, right? Now, let me stop at this RO for a second, right? RO is the basic reproduction number. It tells you how many people one infected person is expected to infect on average under current conditions. Above one, the outbreak is growing. Below one, it is shrinking. We show that to you. We cite the academic source it came from and we label it as an estimate, right? Because that is what it is. And vital signal data is labeled for what it is, right? Now, Vital Watch also has a US layer, all 50 states, colored by outbreak load, 5 categories: vaccine, preventable diseases, foodborne illnesses, zoonotic disease, respiratory illnesses, and emerging threats. Every single one is named, every single is cited. Reuters, AP, Associated Press, Stat News, SIDRAP, named outlets, named articles, nothing anonymous, right? Smarts. You understand threat intelligence. You understand early warning. Most threat intelligent tools are not monitoring that layer, but Vital Watch is, right? Final Boss is an active outbreak in a region where you source materials is a business risk. You are either seeing it early or you are reacting to it late. Vital Watch shows you the information early. And I want to say one more thing before we're done or before we move on, right? This is not a fear platform, right? Awareness and fear are not the same thing. Fear handles you a signal with no context and lets anxiety fill the rest. Awareness gives you the signal, the severity, the transmission route, the geographic data, the citations. Vital Watch gives you awareness, right? Now, go check out the world and the globe when we're done here. Right? And for those who don't know this, the earth is not still. It never has been. Vital disasters monitors 10 categories of natural hazards continuously. Earthquakes from the United States geological, survey, right? Global seismic data in near real time. Tsunamis, hurricanes, and tropical cyclones from the National Hurricane Center. Categories, right? Wind speed, barometric pressure, projected paths. Volcanoes from the Smithsonian Global Volcanism, volcanism program and NASA's Earth Observatory. Tornadoes from the National Weather Service, wildfires, floods, droughts, extreme heat events, and the climate pattern layer, right? El Ninos and La Ninas, right? Tracking from NOAA's Climate Prediction Center. 10 categories, all updating every 15 minutes. And right now, the board shows 190 active events, 63 events auto um um they 63 events ceased this week, right? Because the underlying events resolved, those issues were resolved. They were resolved, right? That last piece matters. When an event is no longer being tracked by its source agency, we pull it, and we pull it at the next 15-minute poll. We do not leave still disasters on the board. Active means active, live means live. Now, let me spend a minute on El Nino because most people underestimate it, right? The Oceanic Nino Index, right? The ONI, measures sea surface temperature anomalies in the East Central Tropical Pacific. Above plus zero point 0.5 degrees Celsius, averaged over 3 consecutive months, is El Nino. Below minus zero point 0.5 is La Nina. Right now, the ONI is plus 0.98. El Nino conditions are happening right now. And here's what the number explains, right? It explains that drought conditions currently reducing agriculture output in East Africa, elevated flooding in parts of South America, above normal Atlantic hurricane activity, disrupted monsoons across South Asia, crop yield impacts that flow directly to food price increases that affect purchasing power for billions of people. One number published by NOAA, right? Sitting in a government data set that almost no one ever looks at, shaping the lives of people on every continent, right? Vital Signal puts that number on the globe, connects it to the disaster events it currently is driving, and we do it for free. Y'all heard what I just said, right? The El Nino Index is connected to the disaster globe and it's free. Warriors, you know what it means to read the terrain before the terrain reads you. You know what it costs to be caught without situational awareness. Vital disasters is situational awareness on a planetary scale. The Earth is generating signals every 15 minutes. This is the platform that reads them. Motivators, you talk about staying steady in the storm. You can see the storm on this platform before most people know it is forming. That is the different kind of preparation. When the earth moves, vital signal watches. You heard what I said, right? When the earth moves, vital signal watches, right? Now, let me ask you something, right? Let me ask you something, right? What food was recalled in your country this week, right? Not what you vaguely remember hearing about somewhere. I'm talking about this week specifically. What product, what agency pulled it, what class of recall, whether anyone was hurt, whether anyone died because of something was still on the shelf when it should not have even been there. Most people cannot answer that question. And I'm not saying that I'm judging, right? I'm not saying that I'm to judge anyone, right? I'm saying it because the system that is supposed to give you that answer requires you to go to places you do not know exist and look for things you do not know what to look for. Well, I got an answer for it. It's called vital recall. And vital recall is that answer all in one place. Non-government agency connectors, right? FDA, food, drug, and medical device recalls, USDA, meat, poultry, and egg produce produce recalls, Consumer Product Safety Commission, the the EU RAS, and um and that's 30 European countries in one feed, right? And there's even more, right? All of it, all on one screen. Every recall displayed as a card, product name, issuing agency, recall class, the reason, the distribution error, and the reported injuries and deaths, right? Sourced from the agency announcement, dated and verified. Now, you got class one. Now, let me make sure you understand what that means, right? The FDA's exact language there is a reasonable probability that use of exposure to a volatile product will cause serious adverse health consequences of death. Reasonable probability of death. That is class one. Every class one recall on Vital Recall has a red badge. Every recall where deaths have been reported shows the death count, sourced, dated, not estimated. And here's the one thing on Vital Recall that would never go behind a paywall: the allergy filter, because I'm allergic to every damn thing, right? I'm talking about peanuts, tree nuts, uh, milk, wheat, sesame, shellfish, right? Everybody knows I'm allergic to shellfish and seafood. If it swims, I'm out of here, right? But guess what else? Guess what else, ladies and gentlemen? I'm allergic to chicken. Right? I'm allergic to chicken, man. Go figure. You pick the allergen. Vital Recall shows you every active recall where the allergens was found undeclared in a product. Undeclared means it is in the product. It is not on the label. A person with a severe peanut allergy has no way to know that, right? The information does not belong behind a subscription fee. Life safety data is not a pro feature on this platform, and it never will be. Motivators, you preach preparation, you preach knowing the environment, knowing what is coming off the shelves in the country. Uh, it's being prepared. Vital Recall makes it automatic. Warriors, you understand that the threat is not always where you expect it. A class one recall with reported deaths is a threat. Most people will hear about it weeks later, if ever. On Vital Recall, you see it when it drops. That's what you need to do and understand. And knowing is half the battle. Know before you consume. Now, I'm going to take my time on this one right here, right? Let's talk about this, right? Let me get some water. This next layer of vital signal, it's called vital atrocities, right? Vital atrocities documents mass atrocity events as recorded by international legal bodies. United Nations Security Council, the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Tribune for Rwanda, the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia. These are not opinion organizations. These are courts, legal bodies, formal jurisdiction, formal procedures, formal rules of evidence, formal findings. When they make a ruling, it is a legal fact, not a political interpretation, not a contested narrative, a legal finding by an institution that exists to make exactly that very determination. Vital signal does not independently classify events. And look, and I'm not going to court, right? What vital atrocity shows you is what those courts found. The Holocaust, 6 million dead, millions of others, right? Established through the Nuremberg Military Tribunal, right? The record exists. The Rwanda genocide, April through July 1994, 500,000 to 800,000 Tutsi and moderate Hutu killed in 100 days. adjudicated by the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. The record exists, right? Srebrenica, July 1995. More than 8,000 Bosniak Muslims, men and boys, ruled genocide by the International Court of Justice in 2007. Confirmed again in 2015. The record exists, right? Cambodia, 1975 through 1979. Approximately 2 million people wiped out under the Khmer Rouge, right? A quarter of Cambodia's entire population, adjudicated by the extraordinary chambers and the courts of Cambodia. The record exists. These events happened. Courts ruled on them. The record was made. And vital atrocities make sure the record stays in one place where it cannot be individually silenced, individually buried, and individually revised, right? Merger Wednesdays, you know why that is here. Conscious sovereignty requires knowing what happens when institutions fail, when data gets suppressed, when the people with the power to maintain the record decide the record is inconvenient. Vital atrocities does not let the record be inconvenient. That is the uncomfortable verdict for this segment. Platforms decide what they include. Inclusion is a choice. I chose to include the legal record of the worst things humanity has done to itself because leaving it out would mean that the platform was comfortable. And comfortable is not what this is. Warriors, you understand this better than anyone. You understand why this is here. Right? Everything up to this point and this is in the structural layer. The source record, the verified numbers, decades of mortality data, outbreak surveillance, disaster tracking, recall monitoring, the legal record. Vital news is what is happening right now, today, this hour, and it's all live. Headlines from the WHO official news feed, CDC morbidity and mortality weekly reports, European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, Reuters Health Association Press Health, BBC Health, and the GDELT Project. Now, let me tell you what GDELT is because most people do not even know what it is, right? And they should. The global database of events, language, and tone, 250,000 news sources, 100 languages monitored continuously, published under Creative Commons Zero, no restrictions, no licensing fees, the most comprehensive real-time global news monitoring system in existence, and Vital Signal uses it. Now, every story that enters the Vital News feed gets scored before the peers. A keyboard scoring model evaluates each headline. Health terms score positive. Entertainment scores negative. Sports scores negative. Celebrity content scores negative. A story needs a minimum relevance score of 40 out of 100 to appear. That is not a general aggregator, right? It is not a feed designed to keep you scrolling. Every story that appears belongs there. When something is breaking, Vital News finds it before you even ask. Every incoming headline gets scanned for the words breaking, urgent, and alert. When those words show up in a headline, that also clears the relevance threshold. It goes on top of the feed automatically. A red ticker crosses the home screen. You do not go looking for it. The platform finds you, right? For my pro subscribers, Vital News has two more layers, right? Two more layers. So stay with me. Right? The video carousel, the official YouTube embeds from WHO, CDC, NIH, and major healthcare agencies. Press conference, right? Outbreak briefings, public health education, official channels only, right? And attribution on every video. And a geographic news map. Every story in the feed pinned to its country of origin. You see where the health news is concentrating on any given day, where the world's attention is at a glance. Smarts, y'all know what this is. Y'all know exactly, I should say, what this is, right? And what it would have cost to build manually, right? Different formats, different update cycles, different reliabilities. You would have to stitch it all together yourself. Vital News does it automatically inside the same platform where the mortality data and outbreak globe already live. The signal is live, and it's live tonight, right? Now, let me step out of the data segment for a minute, right? Let's step out of the data segment for a minute. Because everything I've showed you up until this point is real. The mortality counting is sourced. The outbreaks are monitored. The disasters are tracked. The recalls are pulled. The atrocity record is adjudicated. The news feed is live. And all of it looked um looked at long enough without the right frame around it can feel kind of heavy, right? It can feel kind of heavy. I know because I built the platform and I look at it every day. So I built the word into it, and that's the daily signal. The first thing you encounter when you open Vital Signal, before the counter, before the outbreak globe, before the real recall list, one piece of writing, one quote, or one point changes every single day at midnight UTC time, right? Never repeats within 90 days, right? And it's always free. Not a marketing decision, a design principle. The primary source is, of course, the Go Time series, right? I'm the author of the Go Time series, so why wouldn't I use it in my own platform? It's my books. You know what those entries sound like: direct, earned, no extra words. One thought that has to stand on its own. The rest of the rotation is public domain. Emily Dickinson, Wade Whitman, William Ernest Henley, and Viticus. You know that poem, even if you do not know his name. Khalil Gibran, right? Albert Einstein. The writers who said something so completely the first time it never needed to be said again. And I want to tell you why I chose those voices specifically, right? Whitman wrote through the Civil War, not after it, during it. Dickinson wrote in isolation that would break most people. Henley wrote in Viticus from a hospital bed after they took his leg. These were not people writing from comfortable positions. They were people who found something worth saying precisely because the conditions were not comfortable. Every day when you open Vital Signal, one of those voices meets you first, right? Now, before the counter, before the alerts, before the news, one word: rooted, and it's present, right? Motivators, I built this one for you specifically. Y'all already understand what I'm about to say because data without wisdom is noise. The frame around the information is what allows people to receive it without being crushed by it. I built the frame into the platform. The daily signal and the mortality counter exist in the same space because they belong in the same space. You do not separate the weight of the world from the thing that helps you carry it, right? Read the signal, then read the world, right? Now, everything, everything up until now is part of the free tier, right? Free tier. The counter, Vital Watch, Vital Disasters, Vital Recall, with the allergen filter, always open, Vital Atrocities, Vital News, headlines, the daily signal, all of it free. No account required to start, no credit card. Ask the data is different, right? Ask the data is different. Ask the data is a pro level. And I want to be precise about what it does because I think it is the feature that most changes the relationship between a person and what data like this looks like, right? You go in, you type a question, plain English, about the health and mortality data and vital signal. The system answers it directly in language you can understand, sourced from actual data in the platform, not from the internet, right? Not from training data that might be years out of date, from the 40,000 rows of verified source data that the vital signal lives in, right? Ask it, what is the leading cause of death for adults between 30 and 70 in Nigeria? And it pulls from the WHO global health estimators, right? It gives you the age bracket, it gives you the cause, it gives you the rate, right? It names the source, it names the year. There's no guessing. And it does not fill a gap with an estimate labeled as fact. You ask it, how does cardiovascular disease mortality in Japan compare to Germany? And it runs the comparison, shows both numbers, cities with both rows, right? Ask it which US states have the highest age adjusted drug overdose death rates based on the most current available data. It pulls from CDC Professional 2022 through 2025 third quarter. The most current US mortality data on any platform anywhere right now. Ranks the states, shows the rates per 100,000. Now, let me tell you about the architecture underneath this because smarts are going to ask. They always ask, right? They always ask. This runs on one of the most capable AI language models in existence today, but it runs under what I call a grounded architecture. Every answer has to be anchored to data that actually exists in Vital Signal. The AI cannot leave the platform and pull numbers from somewhere else. It cannot substitute an estimate for a verified figure, right? And when you ask about something that the platform does not have data for, it tells you directly, not confidently, not by giving you something adjacent and hoping you don't notice. Every answer shows its work. Every figure carries a citation. You can verify every single thing it tells you by going to the source data set yourself. Smarts, you've been watching the AI space for a while now. You know the difference between performance and precision. This is precision. Grounded in sources you can check. 150 queries a month on the pro level. That is the AI analyst, and that is Ask the data. Right? Now, I want to give you some time, and I'm going to talk about the data itself, right? Because every single thing I've shown you tonight rests on 11 specific sources, and you deserve to know exactly what they are. All of them, right? All of them. We're talking about the WHO. We're talking about CDC, right? We're talking about Eurostat. We're talking about World Bank. We're talking about UNIGME. We're talking about the Global Health Observatory, right? Human Mortality Database, OECD Health Statistics, right? UN Joint Monitoring Program, right? 40,000 rows, 11 sources, all clean, all cited, all verifiable, right? Zero IHME. And I'm going to say that again, zero IHME data, right? And a signed SLA, 99.9% uptime for institutional prescribers, 99.5 for pro. Data refreshes at a minimum monthly binding, not a claim, but a contract. Final bosses, you know the difference between a promise and a contract. This is a contract. When you elevate a data platform for your organization, that is the difference, and that's what matters, right? Smarts, you want to pull the raw data yourself and run your own analysis? Bulk Download and Pro gives you all 40,000 rows, clean, formatted, ready. That is the standard. Every number sourced, every source named, every claim variable. That is the vital signal data layer, right? Now, let me be explicit, right? Who this is for? It's for the community. It's for the smarts because you care about how systems actually work, not the surface narrative, the mechanism underneath. You want the signals before the consensus forms. You understand that the data driving the world's decisions is usually not the data that reaches the public, right? And then there's vital signal. That is your platform. The who data layer is your library. X data is your analyst. Bulk download gives you the raw files to run your own numbers. Vital Watch is in the early warning infrastructure most threat intelligence tools are not monitoring. You have been waiting for something built without shortcuts on the data rights, without IHME dependency, without guesses dressed as facts, right? This is it. Final bosses, you operate in a world where the risk to your business is often coming from somewhere you're not watching. An outbreak in a region where your source materials are coming from, a category 3 hurricane moving toward a port you depend on, class 1 recall connected to a supplier in your chain, mortality trend shifting the workforce demographics in a country where you are expanding operations. This is the intelligence layer most organizations pay consultants 6 figures to approximate. Pro is $15 a month, right? I mean, $14 a month. I'm sorry. $14, right? Motivators. You build the frame that allows people to receive hard information without being consumed by it. You know that context is the most powerful tool in your arsenal. Vital Signal gives you verified, source, internationally grounded data that makes you work unassailable, right? The Daily Signal gives you the daily word you can build from. You, yes, you, have been making an argument for sovereignty and preparations and awareness. Now, there is a platform that shows people exactly what this looks like, right? Warriors, Vital Atrocities is in the platform for you because you understand the cost when the record gets buried. The security architecture was tested before the first subscriber logged in because you understand the cost of not protecting something worth protecting. Every source in this platform is named publicly because you understand the cost of anonymous information. I built Vital Signal with the same discipline you bring to everything that matters. And for the research, the journalist, the health professional, the policy analysis, the parent who just wants to know if the food in the refrigerator is safe right now. The awareness layer is free. No account, no credit card. Open the platform and the world is already running. Vital Signal is not for one type of person. It is for anyone who wants to read the world as it actually is, right? Now, let me walk you through this exactly, right? So you open your phone or your browser, right? After the episode. And while you're listening, or I built this. Um, wait, never mind. We get to that, right? You're going to go to the Vital Signal app, right? I already spelled it for you. VITALSIGNAL, right? .app. You do not need an account. You do not need a credit card. The platform is live and the data is already running. The vital signs counter is on the home screen. Vital Watch is showing you the active outbreak list right now. Vital Disasters has 190 active events on board at this very moment. Vital Recall is pulling the current recall list with the allergen filter always available. Vital Atrocity shows you the documented record. Vital News shows you today's health headlines. The Daily Signal has today's word. All of it free right now, right? You want a free account? Under a minute to create. You can create one. No credit card, right? And when you do, you get personalized feed, something from you, what you save, your countries. your reading history, your daily alerts when something significant changes in the data that matters to you. Now, on the pro level is $14 a month, 129 per year. 7-day free trial with no credit card required to start. Pro unlocks the Axe data, 150 150 queries a month. Bulk download of all 11 sources. The full CDC provisional data set through 2025 third quarter. Full outbreak detail, including genomic um, um, surveillance data, right? Full recall detail, including lot numbers and batch tracking codes. The vital news video carousel and the geographic news map. The compare tool for cross-country mortality analysis. The captain generator or a caption generator that exports charts with the source citations already built. API starter is $99 a month. API scale is $499. For developers and researchers who need programmatic access to the data pipeline. White label embedded is $299 a year. If you run a publication, a research institution, or a media company, and you want vital signal data inside your platform under your brand, that is the path you want to take. And if you are a federal agency, a state health department, a DoD health program, or an institutional buyer operating on government procurement timelines, Saturn Digital Networks Development Corp is a service disabled veteran-owned small business, SDVOSB, right? Sole source procurement is available. Signed SLA is ready. Contact info at vitalsignal.org for more information, right? And let me say the most important thing one more time, right? Before we move on. The awareness layer is free. The allergen filter is free. The outbreak list is free. The disaster globe is free. The atrocity record is free. The daily word is free. All of that. No account required to start. Vitalsignal.app. The world is already running. Go read it. Now, let's get on board the fired up train, right? Let's get on board the fired up train because it's go time. It is go time, right? And we're almost closing. We're going to go over a little bit, so stay with me, right? And I want to use this time to say the thing I do not usually say on this platform. And I want to tell you what this costs. Not the money, though there was money, right? Not the time, though there was a lot of it, right? I'm talking about the decision, the actual decision to do this, right? Listen, you know my story. I spent 23 years in federal service. Last role was IT branch chief, right? I was good at what I did. I knew the systems. I knew the people. I knew how information moved through institutions and where it stopped moving. And I watched over and over again. The same thing happens, right? The WHO published the mortality data. The CDC published the provisional health counts. The UN published the child mortality estimates. Agencies on 6 continents published health data that affected billions of people and the people who needed the most that data most, right? The community leaders, the practitioners, the families trying to understand what was happening around them could not access it in any form that made sense. Not because it was classified, not because it was proprietary, because nobody built the system to make it readable. I watched that gap exist for years. I watched it at the agency level. I watched it in the community. I watched it on health conversations and policy conversations and coverage of every global health event. And at some point, you have to make a choice. You can work inside the gap, learn to live with it, build a career around the systems to maintain it, or you can close it. Listen, I could not unsee the gap. I learned that once you truly cannot unsee something, you do not have the option of walking past it anymore. I left federal service. I started SatDigiNet. I started the Final Boss podcast. I enrolled into the doctoral program in artificial intelligence. I wrote Go Time series. I built Vital Signal. Every single one of those things is about the same question, the same gap, the same problem. The information exists. Who has access to it? Vital Signal is the most direct answer to that question. The WHO publishes it, the CDC publishes it, the UN publishes it. And now, for the first time, it is all in one place. Free to access, sourced, verified, readable by anyone with a phone and a browser. That is what this costs. And that is what it was worth. Right? Listen, I told you about my 23 years, right? I watched data systems fail. I watched information silos cost people their ability to make decisions. I watched the gap between what the world was saying and what people could hear wider every year. I watched the people who needed the information most be the last ones to receive it. I closed the gap. I'm a combat veteran. I'm a doctoral candidate in artificial intelligence. I have a book that was an Amazon bestseller. I'm an author. I'm the CEO and founder of Saturn Digital Networks Development Corp and TheFinalBoss Podcast LLC. And I built Vital Signal, not because someone funded me, not because a trend cleared the runway, because the data has always been there, because the WHO publishes it and the CDC publishes it and the UN publishes it, because 400,000 people in this network are smart enough to use it if someone just put it in one place. That someone was, you guessed it, that someone was more, right? That place is vitalsignal.app. Vitalsignal.app, right? We read the world's vital signs, right? And before you go, I need you to share this, like, share, and subscribe, right? Put Vital Signal app in the comments. Tag someone who needs to see this. Someone who makes decisions that affect other people. Someone who works in health or research or journalism or policy. Someone who's been waiting for a platform built the right way. Someone who will actually use it. This has been the Final Boss Podcast special live edition. The launch of Vital Signal. The special edition does not count against the rest of the episodes, right? In our numbering scheme. The arc continues exactly where we left off. And I plan on seeing you this Sunday. This is season 4, arc 5, the declaration. Get out there. It is go time, people, and time never waits. Thank you for joining me. Have a great one. And go to vitalsignal.app and get that. Get it. Talk to you soon. Right? And as always, there's a heavier pain that comes with discipline. But there is an even heavier pain that comes with regret. I am here. We are here. And as always, be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That is our show for the evening. I thank you and I bid you adieu, and I'll see you next time. Like, share, subscribe. Go get the Vital Signal app right now. Talk to you soon.